So we begin with residents of Ayopia in the Bongo district in the Upper East region, where President Akufo-Addo first cut sword for the one village. Residents of Ayopia in the Bongo district in the Upper East region, where President Akufo-Addo first cut sword for the one village.
That comes in terms of having to unleash the potential of young, talented filmmakers in Africa and writers.
Policy appeal to the people in the northern regions.
The government came here and told us that they will be giving us dam, and our people assured them that if they give them dam, they also let them laugh. And really, you can ask our assemblyman and even ask the MPP people what this community did for them. They voted massively for them.
It was a political promise that won the hearts and minds of the people. The dams should make it possible for farmers to farm all year round and break the cycle of waiting for the rains before cultivation. It was the reason why the people of Bongo sang and danced till they became drenched in sweat. When the president cut sword for the implementation of the project.
The One Village, One Dam initiative, and you here in Bongo can see for yourself that we have begun the initiative. It is our intention that Bongo alone will get 10 dams this year. 570 are being built. You heard the minister across the 3 northern regions, and Bongo constituency alone is going to get 10 out of that 570.
This campaign promise has been fulfilled. Well, but not quite.
Dam always takes us 2 months to dry up.
Only 2 months?
Only 2 months. October, November. The water dry up. In November, like this, you see our pepper farm. You will like it. But where? No water again.
My name is Jojo Kobinan. It has been 5 years since the dams were constructed. My job here is simple. Find out how the dams are serving the people as it should and what concerns the people have. I hope governments will use the findings in this documentary to improve the current state of the dams.
Dams today on the Super Morning Show at 8 a.m. and also at 8:30 p.m. on the channel. Let's move on to other stories. Authorities in the Volta region have proposed a reconstruction of culverts along some storm drains in Ho to prevent perennial flooding. They believe expanding the culverts will enable accommodating large volumes of water and prevent it from overflowing on the streets and shops. There's more in the following report by Fred Kwame Asare.
Saturday, 8th July 2023 would go down in the history books of the Volta regional capital, Ho. The Ghana Meteorological Service said it recorded 89.2 millimeters of rain on that fateful day, the highest rainfall in about 2 decades. The rainfall caused a flash flood that swept through Ho, destroying shops and homes along drains and on waterways.
We received a distress call that there is a flooding at Ho Bankwe. So on our arrival, we saw that it was a disaster. A clothing store, our store.
The National Disaster Management Organization indicated that some 1,051 residents were affected, suffering the greatest effects. The flood broke through the back of a textile shop in Ho Bankwe and washed away goods worth billions of Ghana cedis.
Metal cost you there is billions of cedis because Agba Ghana cedi me gavio Agba no koma me a wholesale kurata me don't get with all of my uniform. And no pay as a home, especially printers. Uniform, and nurse.
Some residents blame the perennial flooding on the size of storm drains and construction works along the Kabakaba mountain. Joining checks revealed that some residents have erected buildings and fence walls on waterways, hence obstructing the natural flow of water.
When you see the volume of water flowing from the mountain top down there, down to this place where we are now, it's very great. And obstacles here and there, people blocking the path of the water flow because of their constructions.
First of all, there is the need to desilt the existing drains that we have. So when that is done, then we can expect that more money will be found later on to do expansion and reconstruction of the drain.
The Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, acknowledged that lands along the mountain are becoming a preferred choice for residents and hospitality industry players. He called for a halt of construction works along the mountain as an immediate measure to
further development on this ridge, because it's also increasing the volume of water that comes into the city, and we have to regulate it. So can at least soak into the ground. But if we have these concrete floors all over the place, we have buildings everywhere. Water finds its own way, so it will by all means move from the higher levels to the lower levels. So if we have to, the assembly will have to come of the ridge. It's very important. The assembly can start demolishing structures that are off ridge. It's very important. The assembly can start demolishing structures that are obvious.
The Volta Regional Engineer of the Ghana Hydrological Authority, Kennedy Klugerson, strongly believes it would end the perennial flooding in Ho.
There was a MOU between the government of Ghana and some companies to capital city, but they couldn't have Flower Road. That's the Donokoji area, Leprosarium. As you can see, we need to remove that one. Almost most of the old existing cover, we need to remove all of them, replace them with big.
The residents are hoping the authorities would act on what they preach to save Ho from the annual flooding. Fred Kwame Asari.
Governing Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodia, says the party condemns the contemplated bigwigs of the NPP plotting the removal of the IGP Dr. Akufo Dampé because the claims are unsubstantiated.
Unfortunate that New Patriotic Party. To start with, IGP was appointed by His Excellency Nana the power to do so. And I'm not sure when the General Secretary or the National Chairman, it is his prerogative. So he has the power to disseminate it, or certain appointment could also be given to him. So isn't that here or not there?
So what's your official stance as a party on this take?
Well, unfortunately, we think that as a party we condemn it. To start with, it's something that we condemn as a party. But at the end of the day, you also ask yourself, a stage thing, was it a setup? Who went there to record it, and what was the intention of the person who went to also record it and also leaked it out? You should also ask that question.
So is there a possibility that the party will also conduct its independent investigation to know which party member was involved in that alleged tape?
Well, I don't know which party person you are talking about, and at the end of the day, it does not lie in the purview of the party. How can the party come here and conduct an investigation into it? In what capacity? Tell me, in what capacity?
Because the claim is that MPP people were involved in that plot.
Well, so far as we are aware as a party, we are not involved. We don't know who went there to record it. And I believe the national security, the police service, have all the requisite personnel and resources to do their own investigation.
Do you support the parliamentary inquiry into this tape?
Well, it lies in the purview of Parliament. They have the power to do so. So if in their own wisdom they feel they need to investigate, so be it.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the NPP, Stephen Ntim, says the party does not support the activities of gays. Speaking at the Thanksgiving service to commemorate a year in office by the current executives of the party, Stephen Ntim took a categorical stance on the matter.
the New Patriotic Party, as national chairman, wishes to articulate explicitly, in no uncertain terms, without any bells and whistles, that we have a position on the topic that is making the rounds, not just in Ghana, but across the globe. What is the position of the New Patriotic Party when it comes to LGBTQ? I'm sure most of the people here, if not all, would say that Ghana frowns upon the LGBTQ. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why would I, Stephen and Tim, why would our General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kudia, why would this able national organizer all the men here and also the women here, I want to state emphatically, without any fear of equivocation, that the New Patriotic Party that I chair will never support LGBTQ.
Let's stick with the NPP because Vice President and presidential aspirant of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has cautioned party delegates not to vote for anybody claiming to be richer than others in the upcoming presidential primary. Speaking to delegates as he toured the Ashanti region, Dr. Bawumia said he has experience over all his contenders in the presidential race and should be given the nod to lead the party. He says the race is about policies and not a rich man's contest.
Flag bearer, there will be other flag bearer. If you don't go, madam, for honor, so be flag bearer. And yes, sir, by your Obia, Uina, Obetimia could get to me. And yet, Sikanina, show.
As we go for the presidential primaries, we need someone who can reclaim power for us, not just anybody. We need a selfless leader to lead the party and not a rich man.
And yes, sir, our track record, our experience, our ideas, innovative ideas, our humility, our temperament, our maturity, our tolerance for everybody. Sad qualities, no, na all here in the president. And yes, I always seek out.
Touting his achievement, Dr. Bawumia said he is the only
here in the president. And yes, I always seek out.
Touting his achievement, Dr. Bawumia said he is the only